Hey, hello, my friends. Okay, happy day to all of you. This is Suzanne Brothers Varley, and I host this session and all sessions actually of the Rich Girl series. But what makes it even more important and more vital are all of your comments that you sent in. Thank you. Appreciate Becky's comments. And there were some other comments that came in, and don't let me forget who you are because when I write them back to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so solid. Thank you, thank you. Well, we start today the Rich Girl series on strong women. So we are going to boom, we're going to get this thing launched. Hi, Cindy. It's great to have you on. It's great to see that my system works to be able to see your comments as soon as you write them. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Please type your comments in on your thoughts on this topic today, and then anything else that you really want to share with all of us. That's what this is all about. Rich women, of course, but rich in everything, but of course, strong women is our topic today. I want to start off out today with unmasking a misconception I feel is about strong women, okay, and what we are not. Many times I hear things like, oh, she can take it, she's always in control, she's strong, or she's busy, she's too busy, she plays nice, but boy, don't let anything blow past her because she'll really get on you. Sometimes strong women can be like really pegged as being a little witchy, a little too dominant. Being a strong woman does not mean, though, that we are insensitive. It does not mean that we are narcissistic or that we must have things our own way. It doesn't mean that at all. It does not mean that we have all the answers. We can, or that we can work everything out because we're not, or we can take on the whole world and still take it on. It does not mean that, and it doesn't mean that we always have to win. It does mean, though, it does mean that we need some sleep. I mean, seriously, it means that we need some sleep. But also, it really does mean, in part, honestly, that I feel is that you are a part of this very, very fast changing world. You're just trying to navigate through it just like everyone else is, but you're also not afraid to pursue better relationship with yourself and others. Strong, powerful women, yes. And I'm going to take some of my thoughts today from a recent book that I've been reading entitled Untamed by Glendale Doyle. And I want to start off with just saying, let us find inspiration in the joy and the success of other women. If we tear down strong women, instead of loving them, supporting them, voting for them, we won't have any strong women left. Can we be aware of a primal conditioning that makes us first react in not the most empowering of ways to our sisters out there? That primal reaction of saying, well, to ourselves, well, who does she think she is? Or feeling less because we have judged her as more than ourselves. Let's change our thinking to, this woman inspires me. This powerful woman, this strong woman inspires me. Let's not wait around to only be inspired by perfect women. There aren't any. There aren't any. We can't wait around for people who don't intimidate us. A lot of people intimidate us. There are only so many Mother Teresas out there in the world. But let's find a particle of nobility and influence for good and see our sisters out there through that lens. Okay, so when we see joyful and confident women moving through life, can we ignore that first reaction, the one that we are saying in our internal head, that internal voice constantly going on? Who does she think she is? Instead, can we think, wow, she's a lioness and she knows it. Let's think that. She's a lioness and she knows it. Whenever we can appreciate in someone else, that part of that retains in ourselves, as long as we don't do it in a negative way, right? I'm going to read some of what you're writing here. Thank you, Pat. Gosh, it's good to have you on again. Becky, thank you. Appreciate you always. Let's see if we've got some other people on. And Kara, thank you for watching also. Okay, and little Emma's watching too. Good, because she's going to grow up to be a strong woman. I know it. Every time we pretend to be less than we are, we actually, I feel, steal permission from other women to fully exist. Let's not make the mistake of playing dumb, playing weak or silly, as it really does a disservice to ourselves and really the world. You and I do not need permission to be a strong woman. We know that we are. We do not need an example of all the times we have been strong. We do not require a tragic event to show the world and say, see, I'm a survivor, I'm strong. No, I believe this. I believe that you are as strong as you believe that you are. And I got to tell you guys, I am not a strong woman all the time. I'm really not. I know her. I know that Suzanne strong woman, and I've seen her many times. However, I have been guilty of playing dumb, playing weak, playing silly when I did not know who she was or I didn't believe in my strong woman. That's when I played that other part. And I've known her, but sometimes I didn't respect her. I didn't respect her or honor her. And we all know the difference here, don't we? We know the difference between respecting and honoring our strong woman and then playing that other part. And I don't know that I've ever pretended to be stronger than I am, but I for sure want to say to all of you, let's not pretend to be weaker than we are, shall we? Okay. We must reassure ourselves of who we are and what we believe that we are before the world slips in and the world manifests to us something that's wrong. And the world is usually wrong about us, aren't they? The world is usually wrong about you, right? Exactly. I know that feeling too. So I want to pause and take a look at some of your comments and ask you the question of this. What traits do you think strong women have? What traits do you think they have? I want to lock in on that for a second, because what I have found is that if you can say what traits that you think a strong woman has, you mention those, and sometimes you think you don't have them, but you really do, else you would notice them. You know, you only take notice of probably traits that you already have yourself. Jennifer, thanks for coming on. I love this topic too, Jennifer. Yeah, thank you, Becky, again for commenting. Okay. Now, so you guys comment on that, traits, okay? Just a couple of traits that you feel strong women have. And that will help me on, I think, our second recording too, which is going to be next Monday on the same subject. One of the things that I hear a lot from women after they've stated something or they're in conversation with me is they'll say, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah, does that make sense? Maybe it's a habit, but I hear it this way. I hear it as that I'm not really sure of what I'm saying, or it's a question that really is me asking you if you're still paying attention. But what we just got to assume is that we do make sense. Let's assume that we make sense, okay? And that we're not questioning ourselves all the time or questioning the value of what we're thinking and saying, okay? That would be a long shot for some of us, right? But it's something to really give pause to, take note of. One of the questions I have asked is many women is, would you rather be respected or would you rather be loved? See, we want to be respected, but what we want to be really is loved and accepted even more. There really is not lasting love. Don't you think? There's really not lasting love without respect first. So for me, I have chosen to move towards respect first. That it has not always been my priority, as having a sense of inclusion and acceptance has usually kind of trumped both of these. So having that immediate kind of fix, okay, of belonging has stepped in front of me many times from really developing real love. Years of reflection about this have brought me to some impactful insights, right? And I'm sure it has for you as well. Now, I know we're talking about a lot of like mini little subjects, like little minis, but we're going to expand on this more in the next couple of weeks. So just kind of buckle up, gals, because we're definitely going to do that. I also want to talk about hot messes. Okay, the hottest mess in each of us. You know, we don't get a trophy for that. There are no awards for the hottest mess. Conversations between brilliant women often kind of dissolve into who is the hottest mess. But if we can lay down our own messiness and embrace the other side of us, we might find that she has been waiting patiently for us to recognize she's there. Okay, she's there. And guess what? She's not a hot mess, right? We want to be liked. We want to be trusted. So we downplay our strengths. We downplay our strengths to avoid anyone being threatened by that or creating disdain. We don't mention our ideas. We don't mention our accomplishments. We do not accept compliments. We discount ourselves. We discount ourselves. We discount ourselves. And we put our strong woman up on sale to any buyer. Many women, because of this kind of thought within their head or unconsciousness, can fall into many things. And one of the things I have discovered over the years' time is the depression and anxiety that women have. Yes, strong women have it too. We try to hide it, we bury it daily, and then we resort to buffering. And you guys know from past topics that we've done that what buffering is. It's like almost addiction to buffer what we don't want to think about or don't want to do. Overeating, over watching binging on television, over cleaning. That's never been my problem. Over shopping, that kind of things. But what we do want to think about here is to avoid confronting the idea that, gosh, maybe we could be depressed. Nobody wants to think that, but we really need to consider that ourselves and us and everyone else too. I've never been in a season in my personal life when I have seen more of this. So many people judge others, and that's why it's become such a stigma, I believe, is that people are judged for needing prescription medication. But they need it. And if there are people right now in your life, parents, siblings, friends, spiritual advisors, leaders who are sitting in the cheap seats of your life and judging you or anyone else, ask them to see their medical license, okay? Just ask to see, where's your medical license? Now, I do not think that we can always just shake things off. In my early childhood, when people felt bad, really depressed for long terms, they were just said, shake it off, buck up, girl. What kind of person are you? Come on, you can do this. Okay, and you can't always buck up. You can't always shake it off, as many advisors will tell you that you should do. But whatever, I know that whatever we're experiencing in the way of that kind of really negative feelings and sadness and depression, you know what? Those feelings stay in us. They stay in our bodies until we deal with it, until we deal all the way through the tunnel with them. And we're going to talk about the tunnel next week, okay? This is a little thing. I want to give you a little bit of an example of what I'm talking about. This is a personal example. Before my son passed away, years before my son passed away, my inner knowing was preparing for his death. I would always brush it off. I would push it back in my thoughts. Please, God, I don't want to think about this. I would pray God would release me from my inner knowing eye of the future loss and pain that was coming. And that sense that he would die early came to me often. And I knew that God knew that I knew. So before and after his death, I was brokenhearted. And he was really the center of that pain. And I just had to stand in it. And you can stand in your pain because the very thing that breaks your heart is the very thing that you were born to help heal. Every strong woman, every woman who has changed the world began it really, I believe, with a broken heart. My journey on this started with wishing and thinking, I wish I could help pregnant teens. I wish I could get involved with single moms looking for help. I wish I could help women truly believe in themselves and pass those characteristics onto their children. I wish I could never have to take my children to daycare again, not even one day. I wish I could understand addictions. I wish I could understand and have conversations with other women and family members about how deeply they were hurting and how they could heal. I would wish all those things. Yet, on the reverse side, I would tell myself, I can't bear to explore the wish I coulds and turn them into action. My constant fear was that it's going to break my heart again and again and again. But you know what that's like, you guys, seriously? It's like if we really believe that our hearts were meant to be kept hidden, bubble wrapped and under lock and key, as if the point of our life was never to be moved. The point of my life is that very heartbreak led and lent me a clue. Lent me a clue is how I could grow, how I could grow me, what could honestly make a difference in someone else's life and in my own, an honest, valuable difference. So some of those causes led me to really take action and get into these passions and get into the thing that I was so fearful of. So I opened our home to an unmarried mothers program, and I worked with them until they delivered their babies. It moved me to head up a large charitable women's group whose charter goals is to help and support and bear one another's burdens. It led me to even a larger organization where women could really become all that God had created them to be, with a business and an income and relationships and health in all areas, and of course, income to match. It led me to teach and train young men on their values, their principles, and making decisions that would guide their entire life. You see, when we let ourselves be moved, we discover what moves us. And our heartbreak is one of the greatest clues of our lives. So, my strong women, before I look down and see your comments on this, I want to take you back to my first question. What traits do you think that strong women have? This has been a big subject today, and I appreciate your attendance. I appreciate every single one of you have commented in the comment box, and it looks like my system is taking them. So, my strong women friends, rich girls, what breaks your heart? That's my question for you today. What moves you? So, type that into the comments, or just tap into the center of yourself and ask yourself that question, and your answers will really unfold. So I'm even more convinced all the time that our deepest fears are living without ever finding our purpose and dying without ever finding true belonging. Now, yeah, let that settle for a minute, right? I really am convinced that our deepest fears are living without finding our true purpose and dying without finding true belonging. Now, if you have done that, then I also believe, and I know that you got to turn around and help other people find their purpose and find true belonging. Next week, we're going to take this subject much deeper into the things that hold us back, and we're going to tap into unattended stress and the tunnel. Thanks, you guys, for being on today. Jeanette, thank you for coming on. I see this is so good to see you on as well. And everybody out there, wish you always, always inclusion, belonging, love, and purpose. Thanks for being on Rich Girl today, and I'll look forward to more of your comments. Thanks, you guys. Have a great week. Love you.